Good Sunday morning, friends and neighbors, and welcome to Real Estate Radio with Kelly Warren and Associates. Friends, this is where the Valley's favorite real estate agent comes to tell you everything you need to know about buying or selling your home. Now, here are your hosts this morning, Kelly Warren.
Good morning and welcome to Real Estate Radio with Kelly Warren and Associates, where we are here to talk about real estate right here in the Mahoning Valley. I am Kelly Warren and I'm in the studio this morning with my co-host, Handsome Jim.
Good morning. You're welcome.
Oh, good morning. I'm welcome. This is quite the improvement.
Yeah, see, like the last couple of days I was like, oh, we always do the same thing, or the last couple shows. So today I'm saying you're welcome.
Oh,
You're
okay.
welcome that I get to be here for you, with you.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate having you here with me. It is
No problem.
quite the joy every time I get to spend time with you here.
It's like you get to spend every second with your spouse. Who doesn't want to do that?
Who wouldn't want to
Right,
do that, right? Oh boy.
T-Bone's like, shh, my wife can hear this.
So if you're out there in listener land and you're thinking that you need to buy or sell some real estate, we would love to talk to you. You can give us a call or text at 330-717-2689, or you can find us online at kellysoldit.com.
kellysoldit.com.
Now, one of the things that you might be asking yourself is, if I call that phone number and I get a real estate agent that I'm going to work with, who would I work with? How would that be? And I wanted to tell people about our class that we had at the office this week. We folks did a personality assessment for all of our staff and all of our agents.
We did.
It was quite eye-opening.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It made me realize that we are exact opposites.
We are. We're polar opposites. And
Yeah.
somehow we've been making this marriage and this business work for like 20-some years.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
yeah. But I think opposites attract, so I think that's a good thing.
Sometimes.
So
It has its ups and downs.
yeah. All right. Well, I think it's good.
Like, I'm like all cuddly and huggy, and you're like, don't touch me.
Yes.
Like, you don't like hugs.
No.
That's funny.
So maybe you want somebody more similar in that aspect. I don't
Well, I
know.
mean, like when you're hugging someone, you want to hug back.
I'm like a cold fish.
Right. Like, flop, flop.
So anyway, we've got an amazing team of real estate agents who are all different personalities, as you might imagine, because that's how the world works.
Yep.
And I think it's quite interesting, when we have somebody call in and they tell us about their needs and what they're looking for and what their life is like, and as we're talking to them on the phone, we kind of think like, oh, this buyer would be a real good match to work with so-and-so. So, we try and make it a great relationship all the way around. And we did some little workshop, talking in our meeting about different ways that we as a team can work better within our different personalities and how we can approach our clients better. So it was good stuff. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you get nerdy on that stuff.
I do.
To me, it's just,
It was just there. You didn't care for it.
I'm used to not everybody being like me. Little tear makes me sad.
Aw, sad Jim.
I'm perfect.
All right, so here in real estate world today, we are going to talk about, are you ready?
No, I'm nervous. I was, but like you put it like that, like now I'm freaked out.
Public water and sewer versus well and septic. Or I shouldn't even couple them together. Public utilities versus private, or, sometimes a house might have public water and septic,
Correct.
so you can have different things. So tell me what you know about all this, Jim.
I've lived in houses that have had both.
Yes.
All of it.
Okay, so you know all of it.
Well, I wouldn't say I know all of it, but I've lived in houses with all of it.
Okay.
It depends on how you want to break it down.
Okay, well, let's break it down for the folks listening.
Okay.
So they live in houses, we sell houses.
Correct. That's
All
true.
houses have some form of water and sewer.
They have to.
Well, they don't have to.
Well, I mean,
It's
you're
a modern day
right.
convenience. I
Yeah.
certainly wouldn't want to live in one without one,
Right.
but they certainly don't have to.
Well, I do know that it's very hard to get a loan from a bank to buy a house if it doesn't have one of those things.
Not everybody gets a loan for a house.
That's true. So I guess those are the ones that wouldn't need it.
So what about the Amish houses, like out in Middlefield? I've sold a few of those over the years. A lot of them haven't had your typical electrical or heating sources like we generally see. but I do believe that they've all had water at least with a well.
Yeah, so again, water and septic is one of those things, like, you need clean water to exist.
Yes.
So you get it through something. So getting it through a well is most likely how I would say that they would get it.
Okay.
But I know that our well uses electricity, and if they don't use electricity, how do they get
I wonder if
their
there's
well?
different type of pumps.
Yeah.
I bet there is.
I bet there is too.
Or they could be done maybe off of generators instead of public electricity. I don't know if that's allowed in Amish world.
I don't know.
Jim loves it when I talk about things like this.
I love it when you talk about things I'm not. The problem is, it's not that I don't want to know it, it's that I don't need to know it to accomplish my goal of selling a home.
Okay.
Where who does need to know it are the inspectors and the lenders and stuff like that. Like, that is important to them.
All right, well, that's really the meat of what I want to get into.
Okay.
So all right, let's back up a little bit though. So we are mostly in Mahoning, Trumbull, Columbiana counties.
Which has all of those.
And yes, we see in all three of the counties, we see a mix of public utilities and well and septic. And we do see the combinations of them. And even in different areas, our old house was right off of Tippecanoe, like in the center of town. Other houses right around it. It's not like it was out in the country or very rural or anything like that. And we still had a septic tank there.
My brother lived a block away and they had city water and sewer.
Yeah, so it can be just, it doesn't have to be like you're out in the country, so you have well and septic.
Correct.
Okay. So if you own a house that is well and septic and you go to sell the house, what are the steps they need to take?
It'll have to be checked. I mean, there's requirements to check the well and to check the septic system to make sure that they are functioning and up to code.
Who checks it?
The county.
The county. So this is EPA requirements, really.
Correct.
State of Ohio, though, has put those requirements onto each county. And some of the counties further out let private inspectors do these inspections. Our local counties do these health inspections through the Board of Health, through the county. So you'd call the Mahoning County Board of Health, you'd ask for a septic inspection. They send you a form to fill out, or you can stop in and fill it out. It costs $300-ish.
Depends what you're doing. I think it's a slightly different cost for both.
Yes.
With the septic, so the last one I did that I was a big part of was about a month ago, and they had to have it pumped, and they had to have it tested and pumped.
Okay.
So you have to do both, and that pump, depending on, they charge you by the amount of stuff they take out of the septic system. So if you just had it pumped last year, it's going to be less than if you haven't had it pumped for 3 years.
So what if I haven't had it pumped for a while? Should I go pump it right now before I call the county?
I would call the county first and
That's
just
the right
have
answer.
it be
I
done
was
with part of
tripping
it.
you up there. I wondered if you
come
wouldn't
on.
have.
I'm
Call the
better
county
than
folks
that.
first. You want to call the county and have them come out and run the test, and then they will tell you to pump it.
Correct.
You don't want to go pump it first.
Right.
So let that be a part of what they do. So how does the septic test work?
What do you mean? Like,
Do you know what they do? Have you been at one?
yeah.
Okay.
So they come out to the house, they turn on all the water.
All the waters.
All the water.
waters.
Bathtubs,
Flush all your
sinks,
toilets, run
yep,
all your
flush toilets.
all the water. Yes.
Yep, and then they put a dye into it, and that dye goes into the system, and then they have to come back.
Yeah,
to
they
check
test a
the
couple
dye.
things there, and then they test a couple things when they come back.
Yeah.
So what they're looking for, when they're in the house, that first trip when they're doing all that running water is a half an hour-ish, give or take.
Yeah.
They shut everything off, they leave, and they come back a few days later, and then about a week or two later, you get your report in the mail.
Mhm.
When they come back out, what they're looking for is to see if any of that dye has seeped out into the yard.
Correct.
So usually the second visit is exterior only, and usually unscheduled, they just stop by and check.
Yep.
So, with our beautiful Ohio landscape, sometimes we have snow and then you can really see the dye.
Yeah.
What they're looking for is to see, for the EPA, if any of the materials inside the septic, which should be held in that holding tank below the ground and should be well contained, have seeped out into the yard, which would be bad, and then you would need a septic replacement.
Or a repair. It could
Yeah,
go either way.
okay, true.
Yeah.
All right.
I've seen both.
So, on the well test, what are we looking for? Same people do it. You're gonna call the county, you're gonna fill out the paper, you are going to have them come and do the test. If you have both well and septic, they'll do both together.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm not as familiar with well.
okay.
I've had more septics tested than wells.
So there are,
I know they take a sample of it. They
The-
take a sample of the water.
yes, there's
and
more
they
than
send
one
it
well
out for a
test.
test.
So the most frequent one that we're looking for is to see if there's E. coli and bacteria in the water.
Okay.
The other one is the water pressure. Does your well pump enough water?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So both of those are done similar ways. They're gonna run some water, they're gonna test some samples. They
Do
don't
they
need to.
turn on all the water in the house?
No.
Well, that's how you're gonna tell how
you know
well
what?
it's pumping.
Yeah, I believe for that one, they would. And I believe that if the house has been sitting vacant versus if it's an occupied house, I think that there's
Oh,
a
that
difference
can matter.
there. Yeah. We should get a county person over here to do a show like this with us, and they can give
Yeah.
us all of it.
That
Yes,
would be fun.
it would be genius.
We should have thought about that before you dove into this new topic.
Here I am.
We'll figure it out somewhere.
Why not? Okay, so when you get the test back, they're marked either that the county is requiring repairs or upgrades or replacements,
Correct.
or that the test passes. And with the bacteria test for the well, it would say if there's certain levels of bacteria, if it's not pumping enough water per minute or unit or whatever they measure by, it would note that as well. So that's kind of how the tests work. So my next question before we move back into wells and septics is about the public water. So you've got public water, public sewer. You're moving, you're selling. Do you need to do anything?
Turn it off.
Well,
Like get it out of your name. And
Yeah,
let
after
new
the
buyers,
house closes.
Right, let the new buyers get it in their name.
after the house closes, while it's for sale, you wanna leave those on. You
Well,
wanna
correct.
have them functioning at the house, and you wanna leave those utilities in your name.
Mhm.
So yeah, you're not doing that until after closing, and there is no testing or anything. The city water is already monitored and checked, and there's already EPA guidelines on it and all that kind of stuff. So nothing extra to do there. So the question, I guess, from some people is well and septic better, or is public water, public sewer better?
Well, I guess that just comes down to a preference, wouldn't it? I mean,
Sure.
So I've lived in homes with both city and public and private water and sewer systems. And I don't really think much about it either way.
No.
I mean, let me rephrase that. I do, because obviously you have to maintain my septic and my well. So I do think of those things, but it's just part of my normal routine. This reminds me I have to check my water softener when I get home.
We'll just put that on Jim's calendar with the radio every week.
Right.
Okay.
But for use of the water and the,
So your day-to-day activities, your day-to-day life, you're functioning, you don't care where it's coming from.
no, don't care at all.
Okay, pros and cons. So public water, public sewer, you have to pay for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, this costs money. They're gonna charge you for it. Somebody else is doing
I
it.
feel like my other stuff's cheaper.
Well and septic is cheaper on the day-to-day. However, you've never had to go and replace your public sewer system where.
But there are times that you can run into that. From the street to the house, if
Oh,
there's a
you're
break
right.
in the water line or the water line or the sewer line, you as a homeowner are responsible for that.
If it's in that part so many feet from your house, in your yard,
Correct.
not out onto the sidewalk or onto the road. You're correct, yes.
Yeah. So.
Look at you, 2 points for Jim.
Well, that's because I bought a house that had an issue going out to the road, and I thought, oh buddy, this is gonna cost me a fortune.
Okay,
And
okay.
there you go.
So,
It's
so,
still cheaper than replacing the septic system though.
okay, all
So.
right. But your monthly bills over months and months of use and time in the home can add up.
Correct.
Okay,
So that's a little more pricier, in my opinion.
sure.
So we have a large family, and when we were on public utilities, our monthly bills were roughly for water and sewer, I'm gonna say around $100 a month. So that's $1,200 a year.
That sounds low to me, actually.
Maybe 120.
Okay.
So it's been a while since we've been in public utilities.
Right, yeah.
So I was guessing around $100 a month.
Okay.
As for the difference is, so we've had a house with both on public utilities
Mm-hmm.
and one on a public utility and a non-public utility.
Mm-hmm.
So
And now we have both well and septic.
Yeah, now both on neither.
We've tried it all out for you folks,
Yeah.
so if you've got any questions, we've lived with all of it.
So
And honestly, like Jim said, in your day-to-day, you're not thinking about it. It makes no difference in your life. The relatively small amount of maintenance to maintain your well and septic in good working order so that you're not going to need to get those replaced. Just, once a month you dump something in the toilet, the Riddex for the well, for the septic, right? And the well, we're just checking salt, and that's just for personal preference, really, so that the water is as soft or as hard as you like it and tastes the way you like it, things like that.
Well, salt, it helps maintain the whole system, because if you have hard water going through the whole system, it can wear it out quicker too. So I drink it out
So
of our well.
do you know offhand a monthly cost for the salt and the Riddex, the things that you're using to maintain it?
I can actually give you that information when we come back from our break.
I'm just curious, just wondering like how that fares compared to
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
public utilities.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I do know the information.
Okay, fantastic. All right, we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about our home picks of the week, and we're going to then talk about more into septics, what if it fails, and what the replacement and that sort of thing looks like. So I know this is riveting discussion for all of you.
This is so exciting.
You can't wait to hear more about wells and septics, and we'd love to get you those answers. So we will be back in a few minutes. In the meantime, if you have any real estate related questions, of course, you can give us a call or a text at 330-717-2689 or visit us online at kellysolda.com.
kellysolda.com.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio with Kelly Warren and Associates, where we are talking about real estate right here in the Mahoning Valley. I'm Kelly, and I'm in the studio today with Jim, Handsome Jim, as your radio call tag goes.
Listen, I'm going to make you start calling me Handsome Jim around the house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that way you don't get confused and accidentally call me regular Jim on the radio.
You wouldn't want me to call you some of your other nicknames on the radio.
I can't believe this guy's talking to me this day.
Right. Oh boy.
So
Okay,
funny.
so we have been talking all morning about wells and septics versus public utilities. And before we hop back into that, we're going to talk to you about some of our home picks of the week.
Okay.
And we've got two houses to discuss with you this morning. You want to go first, Jim, or you want me to?
You go first.
Okay. So mine is a brand new listing, new this week, at 1127 South Meridian Road. That is Youngstown Schools, right by where, what is that cuts up there? Right by New Road and Berkey. That's the name of it.
Berkey,
Yeah,
that's right.
Having a hard time finding that in my brain. This is a ranch house. It is 2 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, full basement, 1,100 square feet. One of the cool things about this, you guys know this house. You know right where I'm talking about. If you've ever driven down Meridian,
You guys, like, everybody knows this house.
you guys, like the general population, like I'm
Yins.
talking to all of you
Can we use our
folks.
PA accents? Yins?
Sure.
All the yins?
Everybody in radio world knows this house.
Y'all.
This
y'all
is the
know this
house.
one.
My kids call it alien lights. Like
Alien
you're
lights.
driving down Meridian at that right where Berkey intersects, and you see all these cool lights hanging up in the trees. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do.
Okay. So this house is right there, one of those couple of houses, 1127 Meridian, listed for $79,900, which is a good price for it. It does have a full basement, and those houses have that, regular width frontage on the lot, but a nice, huge, deep backyard. It's 250 feet deep for the backyard, so about a half an acre.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Good size yard. Well maintained. I've got 2 to 3 bedrooms on here, depending on which way you want to do it. So it's got that potential third on the second floor, so more like a cape than a ranch. Fresh paint throughout, and really move-in ready. This is a nice home, so you want to take a look at it. It's got an attached garage, full basement, and I know you're wondering, since we've been talking about this today, this house has public water and public sewer. So $79,900 on Meridian Road. If you have any questions or you want to see that house, you can go to kellysolda.com.
KellySoda.com.
What do you got, Jim?
Okay, I have 2296 North Road, Northeast Warren, Ohio, 44483.
Yes.
83. I have to figure out where that one falls down.
What do you mean?
Because
where at on North Road that is?
Yeah.
When you get off the exit where the 3-story McDonald's is,
Ooh,
so the McDonald's right at that corner, you're gonna turn right onto North Road.
Okay.
And it's right by those Howland condos, the North, what are those called? North Terrace something.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're talking about. Okay. I didn't know which way it went from East Market Street. So cool. So this house is huge. It's 4 bedrooms and 4 baths.
Yes, and it's a 4-level split.
That's awesome. It is public water with septic.
Ooh, there's a twist.
See? I know, right? Didn't see that one coming. This actually sits on almost 1.5 acres.
Yeah,
so
beautiful park-like setting for the backyard.
Lot. Yeah, that's a very pretty home. I know it was just remodeled not that long ago.
Yeah.
The last owners updated a lot of stuff.
Updated kitchen, huge living room, great bedroom spaces. The master suite's kind of private. It's kind of got its own little space there. Really interesting house. You know, a little bit of a different floor plan. It's not the cookie cutter that we see on so many houses.
I like that.
I know, I do too.
I like different, like our house that we bought. It's not a cookie cutter, and I like that because I like that it's unique to us. So this one will be really cool like that too. It's going to be unique to the new family. So unique New York.
I knew you were going to say that. As soon as you said New York, I could see your brain turning like I'm going to say
I watch
these
too much
words.
TV.
Yes. All right, can you give me a price and square footage over there?
Sorry, I got carried away. Hold on. Do you know where unique New York is from?
Yeah, Ron Burgundy.
Yes. Thank you. Anchorman.
Okay.
Best movie ever. Okay. Sorry, this house is listed currently at $169,900. And you wanted the square footage of the home? 2,200 square feet.
All right, it's a nice size house. I like that. 4 bedrooms, 2,200 square foot for $169.
Yeah.
Where else in the world can you buy this stuff, people?
Wow.
You want to see this house? Give us a call at 330-717-2689. This home is available for immediate occupancy, so if you're looking to get into something quick this fall, Howland Schools, and you can of course find it online at
KellySoda.com.
Fantastic. So let's talk about wells and septics versus public water and public sewer. But what we're going to talk about right now is you have the county come out. They do that little test.
Wait, we didn't talk into the cost of.
Oh, did you get us answers?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. We left you with a cliffhanger and Jim got it. All right.
Yeah, they've all been waiting, and you went into these picks of the week.
Okay.
Now they're freaking out.
So what's it cost to properly maintain and care for your well and septic?
So probably about $40 a month.
$40 a month versus $100 to $150 a month for if you were on public utilities.
Yeah. Well, again, we're a large family, so we use a lot more than most.
You mean not everybody has 6 people living in their house, 7 people living in their house?
Right.
Okay.
So most people have maybe if they can put up with a wife, they have a wife with them, but a couple kids, not 12.
Okay.
So,
One day I figure you'll all move out and I'll get to live alone.
All by yourself?
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. All right, so if you're properly maintaining your systems, if you're properly maintaining your systems, it's going to run you maybe $40 a month just for preventative maintenance and care, and also preference on ease of use and water taste and things like that. That is far cheaper than having to replace the system if there becomes an issue. So I would certainly recommend that. We didn't talk about pumping. Every so many years that you live in the house, maybe every 3, 4, 5 years, depending on how many people live with you, you should have the system pumped.
They say you should do it about every 3 years.
They charge per pound of waste removed, so it really depends on how much you're using, but you're somewhere in that $100 to $200 range every 3 years. It's not a lot of money.
Yeah, like I said, ours has been in the high 200s most times.
Okay.
Like I said, we're a big family.
Okay. And you guys are full of crap. Am I allowed to say that on the radio?
I don't know if you're allowed to say that.
Well, I just did. All right. I was waiting for a place to put that in there. Yeah. So.
You didn't let me use Ron Burgundy, but sure enough, you can have those one-liners.
Okay, so replacement costs.
Okay.
So Mahoning, Trumbull, Columbia County, particularly Trumbull County, if we're going to face the facts here, septic replacements are a pretty common thing.
Yes, and so they've been common in Trumbull County for a long time. However, the rules and whatnot did change not that long ago.
They got slightly less strict, but still seeing a decent amount of replacements.
Well, again, if you're sitting on a 50-year-old system, it probably does need replaced.
Listen, in Columbiana County, they don't care.
Yes, they do. They do have.
The systems that will pass in other counties may not pass in Trumbull County. That is the fact of the matter. Okay, so anyway, say you've got one of these systems, you've had it tested, the test comes back, and they say that it needs a new system. What are we looking at?
Anywhere between, the cheapest I've seen is about $12,000, and I've seen it go as high as $20,000.
I see in that same range. I agree with you there.
So it's a big window, but it depends what you're doing and what you're upgrading and stuff like that. Like there's all kinds of
different systems.
Correct.
So yes, if it's on lot, off lot, if it's an aeration system,
Yep.
depending on what they're doing. Sometimes you've got 2 tanks, sometimes you've got 1, sometimes the size of the tank is different. Sometimes they have to move it. Sometimes, here's a plot twist, folks. Sometimes there are now city utilities available on the street when there weren't when the house was built, and they may want you to tie in, and you can pay a tie-in fee instead of replacing the system.
I think that's actually cheaper. It depends on how far the house is from those utilities, I think.
Sure. Yes, because you're paying per foot. Well, you're paying like the tie-in fee, you're paying per foot for the plumbing pipe to be run. Yeah. So different things. And you still have to remove and properly dispose of the old tank. So there's that cost too. And then of course, then you want to make your landscaping pretty again. So then there's that cost.
This was a lot of fun. This was a fun topic.
Okay, well, fantastic. If you've got a well and septic and you're thinking about selling your house, or if you've got public water and you're thinking, I sure do like this and I want to buy another house, whatever the case may be, we are the people you want to call. So anything real estate related, if you've got questions, you can send them to askkelly@kellysoldit.com. You could also check out our home picks of the week and all properties for sale online at kellysoldit.com.
kellysoldit.com.
And you can feel free to call us with all real estate related questions, including well and septic versus public water and public sewer. You can give us a call or a text anytime at 330-717-2689. Thanks for tuning in, folks.